You 1 second, Tegan. Yep, recording is on. Off to you, Tegan. Thank you.
Okay, just give me 1 second. I'll share my screen. All right. Before I jump into really getting started with this presentation, I would like to quickly ask that what is everyone's familiarity with kind of app marketing, some of the lingo, just so I'm not saying a bunch of stuff that goes completely over your head and you have no clue what I'm talking about. So could you give me like brief overview if you kind of know some of the tech stuff, or if I should really not use any acronyms?
I think most would know at this point through their journey, I'd say,
Okay.
Tegan. And if there's anything that we need to, I guess, touch on, we'll touch on that. But everyone, if you need to, just chuck your questions in the chat or raise a hand or something like that, and we'll get to it as we need to. Like we've got a bit of a smaller group today, so it might allow for a little bit. So yeah, we'll just run through as we do, Tegan.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah. If there's any questions that do come up, feel free to jump in and interrupt. I do not mind at all. So yeah, this is Mobile Marketing 101 acquisition strategies. So yeah, the goal today is to kind of give you a brief overview of how to take an app from the pre-launch phase to market, and some of the major growth levers that you're going to have to pull over the next 6 months to a year out of launch. So quickly here, these are kind of the major strategies that an app has at their fingertips to really grow and get visibility. The first being App Store optimization. This is optimizing your App Store presence in order to get visibility and get traffic to your App Store page. Paid user acquisition, so running social ads, search ads across the internet to really drive traffic to your app. Product-led growth, creating product strategies that incentivize the users to invite their friends and family onto the app, and continually really test and iterate to make sure that the product that you have is really evolving with the needs of the overall market. Organic content, so creating content on your own social media and putting that out there to promote your brand. Influencer marketing, partnering with an influencer that is related to your target demographic, and really tapping into their audience to convert them over to your product. Traditional marketing, running ads on TV, radio, and such. Publications and PR, working with magazines and different websites in order to really be put on their preferred partner list. And then direct B2B sales approach. So this is a little bit more appropriate for apps that maybe are targeting other businesses, that they're not going after an end user. They're looking for a very specific job title within a specific organization. That's when really going the direct approach is most appropriate. So the reason why I've highlighted ASO, paid UA, and product-led growth is because I feel like those are the core strategies that every single app should be focused on, whereas the other ones can be really important for some people and are just not important at all for other people. So yeah, every every growth plan has a combination of all of these. The specific allocation is going to be different person to person, product to product. So let's start with App Store optimization. So the basic definition that you may see across the internet for App Store optimization is search engine optimization for the App Store. While this somewhat gives you the picture of what it's about, there's definitely some nuance to it that makes it unique and different than the traditional SEO. So why does ASO matter, and why should it be part of your app growth strategy? So first, it helps give you visibility. It tells the world about your app. It helps people find your app when they're searching up related terms in the App Store. It reduces customer acquisition cost. So App Store optimization is really the only channel that gives you free users. Everywhere else, you're going to be paying $5 plus for a single user of your app. So if you're able to optimize the App Store correctly, it can really reduce your overall customer acquisition costs and grow your organic traffic over time. Increased conversions. So if you optimize your App Store page in a way that really tells your potential users what you're all about and why they should download the app, it's going to increase the amount of people that see the app to actually download it. And it really helps build trust with potential users. So this is usually the first touch point that you have with your users. So it really gives you an opportunity to make a really great first impression and show them why your app is going to be beneficial to their life. So the kind of the major elements of App Store optimization and what you need to optimize in order to increase your rankings in the App Store is first the selection of keywords. So this is a keyword research process that requires you to dive deep into what your competitors are doing, what your target demographic is searching up in the App Store to make sure that you are positioning yourself correctly. And you're finding the keyword opportunities that maybe some of the other competitors out there on the market are not going after. Metadata updates. So updating your app title, subtitle, and description with those targeted keywords so that you're telling the algorithms when you should be showing up. Ratings and reviews. This is a huge component to your overall rankings for a number of reasons. One, it helps the algorithm. They just boost people with 5-star ratings. It's as simple as that. But there's also a psychological component to it. If you see an app in the App Store with a 1-star rating, you're going to have some questions. You will probably go back and look for a different one. Or even if you do go through and download it, you are going to be kind of starting off from a skeptical point of view. So those ratings and reviews are extremely, extremely important for the growth of an app. Something that you can do, and I suggest everyone to do right out of the gate, is just tell your network, tell everyone that you know you're launching this app, and giving me a 5-star rating will really, really help me out. That if you're able to get 50, 100, 150 5-star ratings right out of the gate, you're putting yourself in a really, really good position to start getting some organic traffic right away and really kind of build up a little bit of resistance. Because if you have 150 5-star ratings, one 1-star rating is not going to really tank you. Whereas if you only have like 5, 10 5-star ratings, you get a 1-star rating, all of a sudden you drop quite a bit. So that is a tip there to really try to leverage your personal network and get as many 5-star ratings as you possibly can. And then downloads. They take a look at how many downloads you have. So really growing this number over the first couple months and a couple of years can really, really help rank for higher quality keywords. Like for example, like if you're a meditation app, the keyword meditation, it's going to have a lot of competition. There's going to be hundreds and thousands of meditation apps all going for that exact same keyword. So when you're first starting out, you're not going to be able to rank for that word. But as you get more downloads, as you get more ratings, you'll have a chance to start ranking for those kind of one word keyword phrases. And that can really give you a big boost in the long run. So here's some kind of tips and a basic guide of how to conduct keyword research for the very first time. So the way that I do it is I first start with kind of a brain dump of all of the keywords that I can think of related to the app I'm working with. So thinking like going back to meditation, just meditation, mindfulness, mindfulness practice, um, yoga, just like every single thing that I can possibly think of, put that into a spreadsheet. Usually I just turn the clock on for 25 minutes, see how many terms I can possibly come up within that time, and that's my starting point. That's my jumping off point. And then I take that keyword list and put it into some different tools to really expand it out further. Some of those tools include Google Keyword Planner. That's more of an SEO, search engine optimization, or pay-per-click tool, but it is a really good kind of generator of keywords. So you input some of the initial keywords that you just generated in your brainstorm into a tool like that, and it will autofill with a bunch of other keywords, and give you a really good starting point for this list. Another one of those tools that will help autofill for you is Apple Search Ads. So if you create an Apple Search Ads account, it has to be an Apple Search Ads advanced account, and you start setting up a campaign. There's a keyword planner in there that does the exact same thing. It autofills for you. So you just put in one term, and then it spits out another 20, 30 terms that you can just copy and put it into your master list. The next major step in this keyword process is analyzing competition. So you want to take a look at competitors. What terms do they have in their app title, their subtitle? Who are you trying to emulate? That will be really important as you kind of go into some other of these data analytics tools that actually tells you exactly which keywords they're ranking for. And then you can go through and select the ones that are relevant to your app. And you can really find opportunities in the App Store that you can position yourself to rank for. And then the final part is App Store localization. So starting this process all over again in a different region. So each country has, well, most countries have their own app store. So if you have a global product, you want to make sure that you are positioning yourself with the keywords that are being searched up in those individual countries. There's some differences in vocabulary between like United States and Australia, for example. So making sure that you do the keyword research in both of those countries to make sure that you are able to input the right metadata for each of those countries. And they can be completely different if the keyword research tells you that there's more volume for a certain term than in one country than the other country. So I've been up to this point in terms of ASO, I've been really focused on the keyword optimization side of things, but there's also the creative element. This is the App Store page where everyone is going to go to. Every single person that downloads your app is going to be on your App Store page at least once. So we want to make sure that it is visually appealing. It's setting the right tone for them. They know what you're all about just by scanning this page. So having an app logo that is eye-catching and represents your brand well is very important. Screenshots. We want to have screenshots that clearly articulate what the app is all about and what value it is going to provide your target demographic. Custom product pages. So this is a capability within the app stores that allow us to test out different elements. So we could A/B test the screenshots, for example, or we could kind of test out different descriptions, different icons to really see what is resonating most with our users. So that is a really good tool to leverage. Probably not within the first month of a launch, but that's a tool to leverage within the first 6 months to a year. Once you've kind of got the initial growing pains out of the way and you're really starting to test and iterate to find your eventual market in the App Store. Localization, so localizing the listing into different languages and cultures of countries that you notice traffic coming from. And then a preview video. A preview video is a video that kind of walks through your app. It's essentially a trailer of why someone should be downloading your app. This is something that I don't recommend people getting produced right at the launch. The reason for that is an app usually changes quite substantially within the first 6 months or so post-launch. So if you develop a video right at the beginning, you're going to be developing another video every 3 to 6 months, every time you update the app. So you're better off just holding off until your product is a little bit more stable, and you're looking to really optimize at the margins. So now both of these, the stores, the iOS store and the Google Play Store, have a little bit of a different ranking algorithm. So these are kind of the key differences between the two. So both take the app title. That's a very important piece of the ranking algorithm. A note there, it has a 30 character maximum. So you need to be very strategic with the exact keywords that you're going to be implementing there. The subtitle, that is for iOS only. Once again, that is 30 character maximum. And then the hidden keyword field is iOS only, and that has 100 characters for you to play with. So you input the most important keywords in the app title, the second most important in the subtitle, and then everything else that you want to be ranking for in the hidden keyword field. The Google Play Store, their ranking algorithm works a little bit different. Their algorithm is based off the Google search engine. So they index a lot more information. So they are taking all of your short and long description and seeing which words show up the most times. And that tells them what this app is about. So we want to choose the keywords that are most important for us and make sure that they are coming up time and time again. And sorry, the iOS store, you do not want to repeat keywords at all. You only want those keywords showing up a single time throughout the app title, subtitle, and hidden keyword field. And then the kind of unifying factors that matter for both stores is ratings and reviews, as I was mentioning before, update frequency. Both stores want apps that are active. They want to see apps being updated pretty regularly and continuing to improve over time. And then the overall download numbers and engagement and usage. So they want to make sure that people are downloading it and continuing to use it over time.
So we have separate titles and descriptors for each app store then, for the Google Store and the Apple Store?
Yes, you definitely can. I like, so, like you can just take the Google Play version and copy that over into the iOS store for the description, because the description doesn't actually have any ranking impact on iOS. So yeah, you could just use the same long description over on the iOS side. But if you are starting with an iOS app and you took that description, you'd have to rewrite it all and make sure that those keywords are coming up.
Yep.
Yeah. And then for the app name, typically it's close to the same. Like you kind of have to do the keyword research based off the individual stores as well. So you start with a big list and then you input it into one store through one of the tools that I will kind of go through a little bit closer in the next slide, and then see which ones are ranking high and then input those keywords. So sometimes it's the exact same across both stores. Other times the search volume is really different for different keywords.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, as I was just mentioning, there's some tools that really help you with this optimization process, making sure that you're going after the right keywords, and you're able to see what the volume looks like for different countries, and yeah, between the iOS store and the Google Play Store. So App Radar, this is a tool that provides competitor analytics, keyword insights. App Figures, pretty similar to them. They do keyword rankings. There's review management in there. App Tweak, that is for keyword optimization. It's a little bit more in depth than App Radar and App Figures. It really goes into some AI tools to optimize your ASO over time. It's quite an interesting product. And Sensor Tower, this is, it does some App Store data, but it is more of a general analytics tool and insight tool. You can use Sensor Tower to get revenue data on a lot of different apps. So that really helps with competitive research. Unfortunately, they are also very, very expensive. I think their monthly subscription is around like $2,000. So yeah, they really charge a lot for those insights, but it can definitely be very valuable to gather some of those insights over time. And yeah, as I was mentioning, the Apple Search Ads keyword generator and the Google keyword planner can help build out that keyword list as well. So I would like to pause here for a brief second and go over to App Radar and give you kind of a live look of what that platform looks like and some of the analytics that you're able to see. So just give me a minute while this loads. While this loads, does anyone have any other questions on App Store optimization? Anything that I can clarify a little bit further on? Okay, this seems to be good now. Just give it 1 minute. It does not like loading for us while sharing the screen. All right. So yeah, so this is prompting me to connect the app. So once you, if you do work with App Radar, you connect this directly to your App Store account, and it pulls data directly from there and gives you some really key insights. So one thing that it shows you is how well your keywords are performing. So how many keywords are you in the top 1 for? Top 10, top 30, top 50, top 100, your search visibility score. So this is how visible you are compared to your baseline. So if right now this is based on the past 3 months. So this one is, today it is 56% better than it was 3 months ago. So this is something to keep a close eye on. You definitely want to see it going up. If it's ever starting to dip down, it may be because there's changes in the volume for some of your major keywords. In some cases, you may be going after seasonal keywords. For example, like if you're going after Christmas keywords, that's going to have a lot of traffic around December, but it's going to drop off a cliff in January. So you'd want to adjust that metadata again and focus on some other keywords throughout the rest of the year. It gives you an overall ASO score. If you connect it, it will give you an overall ranking for each of the keywords that you have in your metadata. And then it gives you shows you your ratings and reviews. You're able to actually respond directly here to any reviews that you get. And then it gives you impressions, store views, installs, and sales. So it shows you all of the key conversion rates that you really would want to see. So it's a really good dashboard for you to see the most important analytics around your business. So you're able to make really good decisions on what to adjust in your strategy moving forward. So I'm going to quickly go into keywords, and I will show you how to look at the keywords you're ranking for, and how to identify maybe some opportunities, and how to identify some things that maybe you should adjust. So there's kind of two major columns here that I take a close look at: search volume and difficulty. So when you're first starting out, you don't want to be going after super difficult keywords. If there's something above 60, 66, we're probably not going to be able to rank very high for it, just because we don't have the downloads, we don't have the ratings that a lot of the competitors have. So we probably want to look elsewhere. Search volume, 6 means that there's a couple hundred people on a monthly basis searching that up. So if we're ranking number 1 for a 6 keyword, that's fine. Like a lot of people really go to one of the first options. So if we're able to rank number 1 for a 6 volume keyword, we are very happy. This right here, like if I was a stock app, this would be a good opportunity. There's 39 difficulty. There's a good opportunity there. 7 volume. Like this would be a core keyword that I would be very happy to be ranking for. This looks like a good opportunity, but if this is a investing stock app, Color Blossom means nothing. So this could be a really great keyword for some sort of app, maybe some like flower drawing app. But if it doesn't have the if it doesn't have anything to do with your app, it's not a good keyword. It's not relevant for you. Kind of go through here, see if there's any other important keywords like investments. That'd be a good keyword. A little bit difficult to rank high for. Yeah, like invest free. Free, adding the word free to your metadata is actually a good idea, even if your app is not free. People type in the word free a lot into the App Store. So always putting free in there is a little trick that can help you out a lot with your rankings.
So that means like a free trial?
Yeah, like when people would be searching it up, it would be like free investing app or free investing tips. So it's just, this is kind of more words that we would want to show up for when people are searching in the App Store. So even if the app is not free, yeah, just put free in there. It can help out a lot. But yeah, and to your point, Nathan, if you do have a free trial, it is relevant. It is, you're not lying about free. So could definitely help out a lot.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of free plan trial. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, the next thing to do here that I'd like to show you is just some competitor insights. So this, if we go here, compare against this other app, we can then go to this tab that shows you shared keywords. So this is all of the keywords that you are ranking for and all of the keywords that competitor is ranking for. So it gives you a lot of insight into their strategy, what keywords they've inputted it into their metadata. And you don't have visibility into the keywords that they put in their hidden keyword field. But based off the words that they're ranking high for, you can somewhat gather what words they've inputted in there. So yeah, you just go through this and look for opportunities. This Fundrise 42 volume has huge volume and 50 difficulty. This would be a really good keyword if you were a stock app or fundraising app. This would be a really good keyword to be going after. But yeah, you just go through here, adding all of the ones that are relevant to your app. And once again, just building out that keyword list of words that you want to be ranking for. And this keyword list is going to be used for both App Store optimization as well as Apple search ads, as I'll touch on a little bit later in this conversation. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation here. So this is an example. So this is an example of a company that has really focused a lot on App Store optimization, and they've done a really good job. So Headspace, if you're familiar with any sleep and meditation apps, I'm sure you're familiar with Headspace, but they've jam-packed the app title and subtitle with relevant keywords. About as relevant as you can get for a meditation app. So sleep, meditation, mindfulness, mental health. And their screenshots really explain what they're all about, and they focus on benefits. So stress less, sleep soundly, learn to meditate in a few minutes a day. They're really focusing on what their target demographic is going to care about and why they went on this App Store page in the first place. Here's another app, and I really hope that this is not any of your guys' app, because this might get a little bit awkward here. But they do not do so good of a job at App Store optimization. First off, like, I don't really know what this app does. Lose weight with AJ, Andrew Johnson meditation. Like, it doesn't, like, it's trying to tell me two different things at once. It's not clear at all. Is it a meditation app? Is it a weight loss app? Is it meditate to lose weight? That is not clear at all. It's also wasting space on keywords that are really not going to matter. That's not really going to be super important for us. AJ, no one's going to be searching up AJ in related to our app. Andrew Johnson, I don't know who Andrew Johnson is. You guys might know an Andrew Johnson, but no one's going to be searching up Andrew Johnson for this meditation app. The only time that you would put like a name in there is if it's a very well-known name. An example of this is that workout app Center with Chris Hemsworth. That is an app that, yeah, you could use the word Chris Hemsworth because he's Thor. Like, people know Thor. He's a well-known person. But if it is just a name of a person, that is not going to help you rank high. So making some adjustments to this ASO that I would absolutely want to make is something along the lines of this. So having a branded term. I came up with the branded term focus, or it could be anything, but you want to have your brand name in there somewhere. You want to start building out that brand. And if your brand name can be related to your market and actually has some standalone search volume in and of itself, fantastic. That is a really good place to be in. But mindful, weight loss, meditation for a healthy life. So now there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 keywords that are going to be important for us to be ranking for. And we're also going to be ranking for combinations of these keywords. So healthy weight loss, meditation, weight loss. That's probably not very good. Meditation for life, focus for healthy. Like, we're going to be ranking for a huge amount of keywords just by making a couple of small tweaks to the app title and subtitle. So I'm going to move on to paid user acquisition. Before I do, does anyone have any questions, anything that I can go into a little bit deeper in terms of App Store optimization? Okay, yeah, I will move on to paid UA then. So paid user acquisition is probably the most popular way that people go about growth in the app space. It's choosing a social channel like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and running ads on it. There's some stuff that we want to make sure are right in order to make sure that we're not wasting money on those channels. Because if paid UA is done just kind of in a spray and pray approach, you can definitely waste a lot of money and not get nearly as much bang for your buck as you could otherwise. So probably the single most important thing is choosing the right platforms, advertising where your audience is. Like if you are going after like senior citizens, TikTok would not be the place to reach them. And vice versa. If you're going after Gen Z, Facebook probably isn't the best channel for you. So making sure that you clearly know who you're targeting, where they're going to be on most often, and making sure that you are reaching them on that channel. The next thing that will be important here is creating engaging content. So you want to develop unique ads and engaging content tailored to each of the platforms that you do ads on. And you really want to make sure that it resonates with your audience. Another thing that's important here is making sure that it doesn't, like, you don't just come off as an ad, especially on TikTok. You want to somewhat blend in with the rest of the content on that platform. You don't want people to immediately think ad the second that they see your advertisement. Because they're just going to go to the next thing right away. So you want to make sure that you are kind of showcasing the app in a very appealing way, hooking their attention within the first 3 to 5 seconds, and showing them why your app could benefit their life. Testing, test, and test some more. This is marketing, really. It's testing. When you first go to market, you have hypotheses. You think you know your audience, but until you're actually out there, until you're putting content out there, you're just guessing. You don't know anything. So you want to test as many different concepts as possible. You want to test different audiences. You may think your target demographic is one group of people, but a whole different group really resonates with what you do. So you want to test all of this out, test out different ways of saying the exact same thing, and yeah, really run a lot of different concepts. When I first start running a campaign, I usually start with about 10 different static ads and different concepts around them, and 3 video ads. This gives me a good jumping off point to start iterating on. So with the 10 static ads, I can match the copy that worked really good on one ad with maybe a visual that worked well, and start kind of matching them together so that those 10 concepts actually turn into 40, 50, 100 assets with all the combinations between them. So that can really start giving us a lot of insight into what messaging resonates with our target demographic, what messaging gets people excited to download this app, and what kind of visuals people care about. Another thing that we can also test here to really find in the early days is the brand voice. What type of content should we create, and what type of like copy should we have? Should our brand be a little bit more humorous? Should it be like very serious? And this is definitely going to depend on the specific industry that you're in. You don't want to be kind of too fun and jokey when you're kind of dealing with death planning, for example. You want to really match your tone with the content of your business. And then don't spread your budgets too thin. So when you're just starting out, there can be a tendency to want to test 5 different channels all at once. But it is always better to start with 1 or 2 channels and start feeding it information. These algorithms, they work better as you give it more time, energy, and money. And it starts to give you a lower cost for every single user that you get. So if you are starting with 5 different channels, you're really going to optimize none of them. And you're just going to start increasing your budget month over month, year over year, and you're not going to get the return in terms of users that you would otherwise, just being focused on the core channels that matter most to your target demographic. So these are some general numbers just in terms of the acquisition cost for different actions. So generally speaking, globally, the cost per install is $3.60 for iOS, $1.20 for Android. This can fluctuate a little bit based off the region that you're targeting. Australia and United States is probably a little bit higher than this. If it's on iOS, it's $3.60. Globally, it would probably be like $4.50, maybe $5 in those 2 regions. Registration, that's actually getting them signed up, starting an account. So there's always going to be drop-offs at each stage of the funnel. So we want to make sure that we're trying to minimize that as much as possible through product optimization. But yeah, also understanding that the cost per install does not mean that they are going to directly give you money right away. You need to, that is kind of the start of their journey. And we want to make sure that we're optimizing that journey, optimizing the conversion rates, and really adjusting the product to make sure that the most amount of people possible get to that endpoint and convert into a paying customer. So the main paid channels I typically focus on, and a lot of marketers focus on, is Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, Apple ads, Google ads, and then there's some other channels that work in particular cases that include Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Reddit, and then there's a bunch of third-party ad networks that can target very specific people as well. Starting with Facebook and Instagram, it's definitely the largest social media platform. It's great for targeting specific demographics and interests. If you have a clear idea of who your target demographic is, it can be a really good tool to reach them. The general cost per install is usually somewhere in the $4 to $6 range. Apple search ads, so this is direct in the App Store ads, allows you to kind of cut the line and rank high for different terms. I was mentioning a little bit earlier how difficult it would be to rank for the keyword meditation right away. But we can rank number 1 for that keyword right away by going with Apple search ads and paying to be at the top of the list. The general cost per install for Apple search ads is between $1 to $4. This is going to be very dependent on specific industries. It varies very greatly. Like some industries, there's a lot of keywords that people are searching up. Others, there's really, really low volume. So it is important to conduct that keyword research as early as possible to understand, okay, is this a market that Apple search ads is going to be a home run for, or should I kind of focus on some of the other channels? Google Ads, this is there's quite a few different placements on Google Ads. There's like the search ads, there's YouTube advertisements, and then there's the direct ads within the Google Play Store. The cost per install is typically a little bit lower than Facebook and TikTok, but there is sometimes some issues in terms of quality. There's be a little bit more bot traffic and fraudulent traffic with Google Ads. They have been trying to clean it up, but it is something to be aware of, because just because you're getting a lower cost per install doesn't always mean you're getting a lower cost per subscription. And the quality of users may not be quite as good. TikTok, this is a highly visual platform that has very high engagement. Traditional ads do not work here at all. You need to blend into the way that TikTok looks. You need to have user-generated content explaining what your app is all about. The general cost per install kind of within the same range as the others, between $3 to $6. So here's some different placements for different ads across different channels. Starting with Apple search ads. So with Apple search ads, as I was just saying, you jump to the top of the list for any search term. So this search term here would be video repost story saver. Whenever someone typed in that exact placement, you'd be entered into a bid process, and dependent on how high your bid is for that word, I would determine if you or someone else shows up. So when you show up, you're right at the very top, you have lots of visibility. And for that reason, there's a pretty high conversion rate on these types of ads. It's also important to optimize those screenshots that I was discussing before here, because it pulls the first three to show as essentially the ad creatives. So you want to make sure that those first three have somewhat of a standalone narrative and can explain what your app is all about very quickly, just within those three, and why they should click on your App Store page to learn a little bit more. This is a meta ad placement. So this specifically is on Facebook, but very similar ad could be done on Instagram. And then there's quite a few different video placements as well. Instagram Reels, story ads. So there's quite a bit that you can optimize for there. And then Google ad placements. This one specifically is on YouTube. So I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into Apple search ads and some general strategies that you can implement to really get some good growth initially and over the long run. So the first one is a strategy that I've actually implemented here over the past 8 months or so. So this is called the ASO boosting strategy. So kind of the whole goal here is to boost your organic rankings as much as possible. So the way that you do this is you go to market with a fairly aggressive ad budget. So we're kind of talking the first 3 months of roughly $10,000 a month. You bid on the highly relevant keywords that you want to be ranking high for. And after those 3 months, you drop it down to about 2,500 per month. So what this does is it kind of artificially boosts your ranking in the App Store. It tells Apple that you're going to be spending a lot of money, and they just boost you up. It really works. It does. I've worked with this app, and we were doing $10,000 per month, and we were able to get up to a monthly revenue of $10,000 a month, and then we just dropped it right down. So that $10,000 a month stays on afterwards, even after after we drop it down to 2,500, and that's just maintaining that level of revenue. So that's a strategy that's not going to work for every single category, not going to work for every single person. But in the right circumstances, based off keyword research, it can be a really, really good strategy to go to market with. The other strategies that can always be implemented for anyone is competitor campaigns. So conducting keyword research and identifying competitors' branded keywords and their long-term, long tail combinations of keywords, and inputting that into a campaign, setting the budget to between $20 to $50 a day. And then you are just essentially capturing traffic that would have went to a competitor and now they're going directly to you. And then general category campaigns. So taking some of the keywords that we found in our keyword process at the beginning and inputting them in. And as I was saying before, kind of jumping the line to terms that we would not be able to rank for years and be able to get visibility on them right away. So the next major strategy here is product-led growth. Before I move on there, any questions on paid user acquisition? Okay, moving on. So product-led growth. So this, it really refers to, well, growing with your product. It's making sure that your product is taking feedback from the overall market and adjusting over time and using the growth of the product to incentivize users to share it with their friends and family. So product market fit. So we want to make sure that we are validating the product idea and getting testing and feedback from our target audience early on to really understand if this is something that they want. Is this a pain? Is this a problem in their life? And is this solution sufficient to solve that pain? Continuous improvement. So tracking a lot of data around your campaigns and your product to understand how they're moving throughout the app funnel. Are they completing the sign up flow, or are they dropping off on the third screen? And if they are dropping off on the third screen, why? Are we asking for too much information too fast? Is there an error? Is the button that they are trying to click not taking them to the location that we thought it would? Is there something happening there? Is there a slight copy error that came through? Really dialing down and figuring out what is causing some of the major drop-offs in the funnel, adjusting them, and then testing for the next period and seeing if that's solved. If it doesn't solve, then coming up with another hypothesis in order to figure out how to solve those leaks in the funnel. We also want to make sure that the overall customer experience is one that makes sense. You're able to easily get out of the app what you want. You're able to find the features that are really important for the app. And then really the important part here is the virality and referrals. So we're offering a great product. We are continuously improving it with our user base. Now we ask our users to share this experience with their friends and family. There's a number of different ways that people do this. There's people ask for, or they like give something away for free. Like I was working with this meditation app that every single time someone invited 5 of their friends to the app, they would get 1 month free. So giving away something in app for free, that could be discounts, that could be subscription, it could be a badge of some sort, depending on this type of app that you have. But giving away something in app to incentivize people to share this with their friends and family. an app that has done a really good job of kind of that last piece, the referral, and really incentivizing people to help grow the app for them is Uber. So Uber did a dual-sided referral approach at the beginning of their life cycle, where they created a program for riders as well as drivers to make sure that they were incentivizing people to like start driving and stop driving a cab or stop driving for Lyft, and then give free rides to people that need it. This referral program really kind of kickstarted their growth. They were able to achieve a 12x ROI on this campaign, and it really kickstarted what Uber has become today. Referral marketing produces low to no cost users. So if we're able to give away, like the example that I was using before with a subscription, 1 month subscription does not cost you anything if that user's already in the app. I guess you forego that 1 month subscription, but if they invite two people onto the app or 5 people onto the app, you more than make up for that in the very first month, and then every month from there it's gravy. So creating a program like that can really kickstart the growth of an app. And an action here that I'd like you all to think of is, how can you incentivize your user base to invite friends and family onto this app? This will not work for all apps. So if your app just does not make sense for this at all, that's okay. There's other growth strategies. But if you have a B2C app, a consumer-based app, this strategy can be applied to 90% of them. So I would like everyone to think about that over the coming weeks. How can you incentivize people to refer your app to their network? So a major thing that we want to be tracking is data. We want to understand how people are progressing through the funnel. We want to understand how profitable our actions are, how well our strategy is working. So in the mobile space, as well as the SaaS space, there is a framework called Pirate Metrics, the R framework. So that is acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. So it's essentially a funnel. So the top of funnel, acquisition. So how many downloads are we getting? The download growth rate, the cost per each install, and the App Store conversion rate. So there's some general numbers in here, just general benchmark numbers. Cost per install between $3 to $8, and the App Store conversion rate. This is all over the place for different categories. If you're interested in your specific category, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to look into those numbers for you. But yeah, the App Store conversion rate, 15 to 70%, and this is from people that are viewing your page into an actual install. Activation. So how well are you able to onboard those installs and turn them into customers? So the onboarding conversion rate, typically about 10 to 30%. And then the free trial to paid conversion rate, if you have a trial system in place. Pretty much we want to be asking, does your app provide quick value? Are people excited about this app? Are people in after they've onboarded? Are they going to continue on with you, or are they dropping off and trying to find something else? Then retention. So how well are we able to keep that attention? Are people coming back to this app day after day, week after week, month after month? Or do they use it once and then drop off? So daily active users divided by monthly active users, this is what they call the stickiness ratio. So that's how often people are coming back onto the app. And then user retention rates. So how well are we able to keep people engaged? So the average here for 30 days retention is 3%. So it definitely drops off a cliff, and it drops off a cliff for everyone. So it is very important to activate people right at the beginning. So if you have an app that has a 30-day free trial, the numbers here kind of tell you that that is not going to be a winning strategy. You want to convert people and get them on board right away. And you want to try to have those transaction events within the first couple of days, because that's when that's when the attention is at its most. That's when we're able to really monetize the users that we paid to get on the app. That is also the window for those referral programs that I was talking about. That's when we should be trying to get people to invite their friends and family, because if we're able to turn one user into another user, that restarts that 30-day clock, and we're able to kind of create a little bit of a snowball effect and get more and more users into the app over time. And yeah, that's the next point, the referrals. So how many people are we able to turn one download into? And then revenue. How much revenue are we pulling in per download? And also looking at the lifetime value versus the customer acquisition cost. So are we profitable? Are we able to acquire users at a profitable rate? And it's okay to not be profitable right out of the gate. A lot of companies are not profitable for a while. It is more about setting up the infrastructure and making sure that you have a path to profitability. You kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that goes for conversations with investors too. Not all investors are going to need this app to be profitable right now today, but it definitely needs to have a path to profitability. There needs to be some light at the end of that tunnel. There needs to be a way that this is going to grow over time and to be a profitable business, because no one comes into the app space to lose money. So we need to make sure that there is that model in place that is going to work in the long run. So how do we track this data? There's a number of different places, and you may recall at the beginning of this conversation, I mentioned the iOS 14. That created a lot of complications in this space. iOS 14 was a change in Apple's privacy policies, and it essentially turned it so you now have to opt in to being tracked. Previously, you had the option to opt out of being tracked. So essentially before, it was 70% of people were opted in to being tracked, and now it completely flipped. Now only 30% of people are opting into being tracked. You can get this number a little bit higher if you do an effective prompt to ask people to be tracked, but that's kind of generally what we're looking at. So this creates a situation where the data is more fragmented. You're going to have to work with a couple of different providers in order to get the information that you need to make decisions around your business. Some of these tools include product analytics. So Firebase is a free tool through Google. This allows you to track people throughout the app funnel, understand where those drop-off points that I was talking about are, and really shows you how engaged your user base is. There's more advanced versions of this. Mixpanel is an example of this. That is probably not needed, at least within kind of the first year of operation. Usually I suggest going with as lean of a tech stack as possible at the beginning, until you are able to start bringing in a little bit more revenue. Attribution tracking. So an attribution tracker is what allows you to track and see where installs are coming from. And yeah, as I was mentioning, if people do not opt in to being tracked, this is the tool that allows you to still track them, but anonymously. They are now tracked through a system called the Scan Network on the iOS side. So it's not 100% accurate, but it's 95% there, and 95% is better than 0% in terms of the data that we need to optimize our campaigns. So that's kind of what an attribution tracker allows us for, and allows us to track. It also sends data directly back to channels. So if we're running campaigns on Facebook, it will tell Facebook the exact campaign that led to an install, or it can tell Facebook what campaign led to a subscription start. And when we feed that information back to Facebook or Google or any of the other ad channels, they can now optimize for that specific event. So you're training the algorithm, you're training it with the types of users that are more likely to or go through with a specific action in app. Engagement tools, this allows us to send out custom push notifications and messaging to users, to ask for ratings and reviews, to let them know of new features, to keep them informed and keep them coming back on the app as much as possible. And then App Store Analytics, this gives us some basic insights into the downloads and overall ratings and reviews. It also shows some profitability. It gives you some analytics, but those numbers are definitely a little bit muddled in the post iOS 14 world. So yeah, that is kind of the overview of the app marketing space. So yeah, I'd love to open up the floor here and answer any of your questions, dive into any of this a little bit further for you.
So when you're talking about these keywords, so is